I never told you I was going to show the Ark of the Covenant to the public, but I still want to say that we do have the true Ark of the Covenant here in Ethiopia. Then we get later reports, this is months down the road, we get a Proto-Canaanite shard found, which establishes that the Ark of the Covenant most likely would be found in Yemen. Next thing we know, America is all rushing to Yemen and going to war in Yemen. Now, in 1980s, we had the first magnetic anomaly announced there in that port off of Yemen, off Somalia, and that this magnetic anomaly was actually reestablishing our understanding for plate tectonics. There are even images of vortex ocean openings there, which I can't confirm just yet, so I'll be looking deeper into that. But if you all remember, what sent all of the different ships from NATO, from the US, from the UK, from China, the list goes on and on as to everyone heading to Somalia into this port. Well, if you remember, it was all due to piracy. And when you realize that the pirates were taking on the Sirius star, then all of the clues start to come back together, and we see coded messages once again being passed to the Brotherhood so that they know where they need to be. So, what is going on there? What is it that we are entering into? What is it that is guiding this Brotherhood in their secret knowledge as they misguide us through their ritual magic and casting of demons in front of us, such as Barack Obama? We don't know, but we know the world is strange. We know that at this point we're moving from we've gone from a theocracy to a democracy, now into a technocracy. We see as they start to establish this Terminator salvation, or life on planet Earth thanks to robots, and like I say, I'll be getting more and more into that in the coming weeks. But we are watching the technocracy as it forms around us, as they launch all their necessary means, and they are using certain politics to say that this is necessary. Of course, I was able to predict that Obama would cancel the funding to NASA because it was obvious, Anyone that's been listening to me was not taken by surprise by this announcement. We're going to SpaceX, we're going to the Dragons, we're going to Lockheed Martin and Boeing. No more will there be a national space program. Privatization is the key word here, and corporatocracy is fascism. Let's know where we're at. So as the guidestones tell us in Georgia that we need to maintain the population at 500 million, let's realize that maintain means that they were already down to 500 million. So what is going to happen? We don't know. We know we can see the signs, and I'm going to keep trying to track them. But what we do know is that everything that we do believe at this point is false. We do know that the systems that we think we are trying to save, the super, put trillions of dollars here and trillions of dollars there, is completely unimportant. That all of that is just to keep us busy, keep our minds taken over as these men of the age of reason take over with their technocracy and start to establish their global world. So we need to realize that we are being played on a large scale. We need to realize that every aspect of our lives is being programmed. When you find Apophis in video games, when you find the latest Electronic Arts Dante's Inferno, which had a commercial there on the Super Bowl that was supposed to say "Go to hell," but they had to change it to "Hell awaits," as if that were any better. And let's remember that Disney did buy out Marvel and is working on buying out Electronic Arts, and then they'll put out their epic Mickey video game. So from video games to television shows to Grammy Awards, we start to see it all. We, of course, had Lady Gaga doing her Phoenix ritual, announcing that she was a monster, and that she was going to turn all of you into monsters, mind controlling you with her pop music. They then burnt her, and she rises from the ashes with none other than Elton John and a bunch of dead hands coming up out of the ground on their piano. Very curious there, but it doesn't stop there. Of course, then Queen Bee, which will form right into the Metropolis coming Robo-Sapien agenda. Queen Bee, or Beyonce, then comes out with a full troop of riot squads. Come on, this is not art. This is this is less art than the Nazis coming out on stage while Obama was watching the Kennedy Honors Awards. This type of blatant propaganda is just boring, really. I mean, what the heck was that? The dancers in the riot gear couldn't even dance. What are we going to think about that? But of course, they followed this all up and kept it all scooped together with Pink, who then was put through the first Masonic ritual, having her pant leg halfway up, being black and white checkerboard, having her left breast bared with a heart over it, being hoodwinked or blindfolded before being hung from the ceiling. These are our Masonic rituals. Then we see as Project Chaos is being enacted, and Eminem comes out and sings all about suicide. What happy Grammys are we having these days? How he wants to shoot and kill. And he is then trained and talking to the demons or the devil, and even took on the very name that these pop stars and hip hop stars are calling upon, which is Rain Man. I almost shudder to say his name live on the radio, but Eminem then announces that he is Rain Man. When you see the rest of the videos, like from Lennon Honor, you'll see that they are calling upon Rain Man, but Eminem said he was Rain Man himself. Now, once again, this is all part of this end of the world script. America is supposed to be Satan, and that is why it's so blatant at this time. This is why Lady Gaga does blood rituals at the VMA Awards and then Phoenix rituals at the Grammys. This is supposed to be obvious. America is supposed to be Satan. How can you have a global government if you don't have something to point back to and say, look what happens when you give people freedom? But we all know this is all just a farce, but who's going to remember, right? That's your job. That is your job. That is why I'm here, so that you remember how we got to where we're going. I don't have any intentions or beliefs that I can stop this juggernaut. That is not my goal. My goal is to have people remember how we got there, so once we're in the mess, we might know how we got there and that it wasn't truly our fault. When you realize James Cameron is producing Lady Gaga's videos, then you start to realize the level that this programming is going. She didn't make it. She didn't come up from the ground floor and work her way up. No, she was a hermaphroditic perfect icon that was perfectly able and wanting to be part of this New World Order, wanting to be part of the programming of Satan into you. So this is why she is at the top. Certainly not her singing skills. So now we have Eminem, and next thing you see is some man phoning into 9/11 saying, or phoning into 911 saying, I just killed my wife and children. I couldn't help myself. I heard Eminem's lyrics going through my head and saw demons in their faces. This is the level that the programming goes. Now go check out Darren Brown. Check out how subtle clues can be programmed into people to make them do things that they've never thought they would do. This is programming, NLP. This is neuro-linguistic programming, and it is assigned and attached to certain songs and signs and colors. Go watch Darren Brown's The Heist and get some ideas of the levels of programming they are capable of. Then realize that they're bringing everybody into these rituals, performing this NLP type of programming. I mean, telling you you're a monster, and you're being mind controlled. This is part of NLP. Or listen to Obama's speeches when his text translator's actually working and he pulls off all of this NLP programming. Realize what's going on, that your mind is being manipulated. So this takes me to last Sunday's show with Clyde Lewis on groundzero media.org. Now, as I went on with Clyde, I wanted to tell him all these things that I'm telling you now. But often when you get in with another researcher, you will find that they want to also promote their